What's up YouTube and fellow Squires? How's it going today? We got ourselves another episode here at the Game Nights. You got your boy Titan here, just once again for the intro and the outro, because today I got my boy Jaxx giving you his full analysis and breakdown of his favorite deck, the Floowandereeze deck, the bird deck. He absolutely loves it. He's been playing it like crazy ever since it came out. I'm letting you guys know right away, it is an unorthodox deck. I will put that disclaimer out there right from the get-go. It is definitely something spicy that he has created, so I really hope that you guys enjoy his deck. Before we get off into the deck profile, I got a couple of things to mention. Let's say this time, let us know, what your favorite Floowandereeze card is, or what your favorite archetype is that's coming out in the near future. I would definitely love to hear it. We all definitely would love to hear it. And then, of course, all of that good YouTube stuff. Make sure that you're, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure that you're smashing this little notification bell up here, making sure that you're always notified on what your game nights are doing. And definitely, you can share the video. We always appreciate that. And you can hit us up on Facebook if you feel like communicating with us. We definitely do not mind communicating with any of our fans. All right, with all that out of the way, guys, let's go off into the deck profile.
Thanks, Titan. We're just going to jump right on into my deck. We play the 3 Robin because it is the absolute best bird in the deck. Every single Floowandereeze monster in the game that's under level 10 says that you can't spell summon the turn you activate any of their effects. So just keep that in mind. It really cuts off like any extra deck plays that you want to do. My deck doesn't actually play it as a single extra deck. You can have an extra deck though, just like throw off your opponent, whatever you want to do, you can. But it just stops you from being able to do any of that as soon as you activate any of their effects. What this one does is when it gets normal summon, it lets you add any level 4 or lower wing beast monster from your deck to your hand. That's your barrier statues, your slower swallows, your other Floowandereeze monsters, literally anything that you want to add. DD Crow, you can add it. So basically this thing is just your typical play starter. And then every single Floowandereeze monster, aside from Snarl, has the effect after their effect resolves, you get to normal summon immediately. So it just lets you go normal summon, normal summon, normal summon, normal summon, in a continuous loop like that. I'm sure that everybody watching this video knows what Floowandereeze do, so I'm just not gonna continue saying the same things over and over again. But yeah, this is the best bird. He just starts your plays. You always want to open one of these, or something to grab one of these. The next card that we play 3 of is Eagle. Eagle is the second best bird. If you only open a single eagle as the only bird in your hand, that's big unfortunate. This happens to me all the time. Luckily with Advent, that kind of can be worked around now, but keep that in mind that just opening one eagle isn't going to get you anywhere. Typically, if you're in that situation, you better just hope that they can't OTK you and just hold it in your hand and hope that you don't get OTK'd and can open a second bird. But he does start you a level 7 or higher wing beast monster, so when he's normal summoned, which is your big birds like M-Pen or Ryza or Snarl or whatever you want to play. We also play 1 Stree and 1 P.U.N.K. When they're summoned, this one banishes a card from either graveyard, and then this card grabs back any Floowandereeze card that's banished. So there is a lot of loops that you can do with these, where you tribute 1 M-Pen for another M-Pen, Stree will banish it, P.U.N.K. will grab it, then you get the tribute for another M-Pen, so on and so forth. These 2 are really good for just comboing and in certain situations that you need to get out of. They're very useful. You can play 2 copies of either or. Stree would be better if you're more concerned about having a bird to open with, because you can just activate a spell card and banish the spell card to use this effect. P.U.N.K. is better as a 2 of later on in the game when you're needing to loop your resources. So I just play 1 and 1 just to keep things simple. I found that it worked out pretty well for me. The next card that we play is going into our big birds, because that's really all of the little cards that we play, the little birds. It's kind of a small package, but it's okay. First one, I'm gonna have to do some explaining on this one because it is a spicy tech choice of mine. We play the Earthbound Immortal Roska. Basically what this card does is when it gets tribute summoned, you can shuffle 3 cards that you control back into your deck, and then you get to rip 3 cards out of your opponent's hand and send them to the graveyard. He also gains 1,000 attack for each card that you rip out, and it can be up to 3, so you can do 1, 2, or 3. He can attack directly, and he also cannot be attacked. So he's just really good for getting in some extra damage that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get. and for making sure that your opponent has no resources on their turn aside from the one card that they draw. I also have another card that in my deck that makes this card a little bit more viable when trying to get to the 3100 attack points that you can actually naturally get to. The next card that we play is P.U.N.K. This card is the best bird in the deck. This guy grabs you any of your Floowandereeze spell or trap cards, so that's your Scary Sea, your Advent, your map, literally anything, he can just grab it for you. This card is amazing to loop tribute for one, like tribute one of it or the other one, and then you can just infinitely get P.U.N.K. effects off like that. None of his effects are once per turn. Attack manipulation is once per battle. None of his effects are once per turn, so he is kind of busted. I played against another Floowandereeze player at locals today, actually, and he was only playing one P.U.N.K. He was really confused when I played two, and then he realized that he couldn't out 2 P.U.N.K. He wasn't mirror matching me or anything, but he does realize the power of 2 P.U.N.K. now. We play one Snarl. A lot of people don't play Snarl. I love Snarl. There's just a lot of plays that you can do that involve Snarl. It's really good for being able to... I play precious cards in the deck, so when you have precious cards, you can summon Snarl and then guaranteed also get an P.U.N.K. and that will give you 4 draws instead of the 2 draws. It's also another way if you don't have map. If, like, say your opponent destroyed your map on their turn, you can still guarantee that yourself that you have more than one summon. Even the busted thing with Snarl is once you activate its effect, even if it leaves the field, it still gets its 3 summons. It can also have a quick effect to banish a card from your hand and flip your opponent's special summon monsters into face down defense. With P.U.N.K, when he's on board, your opponent's special summon monsters in attack position have no effects. I should have mentioned that earlier. That's basically what the 2 big birds do. He's at 29, P.U.N.K's at 27. Unless you're at like 5,600 attack points, you're probably not getting over P.U.N.K when you attack it. So just keep that in mind. The next card that we play is the triple D-Shifter. We're getting into the hand traps now that I play in the deck. D-Shifter is really good because every single card in this deck wants to be banished. There's not a single card that doesn't want to be banished. This has absolutely no impact on you. You can activate it if you lose the dice roll, you open it. Well, now your opponent has no graveyard for the turn. You go first, you open it. Well, now your opponent has no graveyard on their turn. You can cut it down to 2 if you are overly seeing them, like you're seeing them too much, then absolutely you can cut them down, I would understand. But with the amount of cards that I'm playing in the deck, the 3 is actually more than okay. When he gets sent to the graveyard, everything is banished. Everything that gets sent to the graveyard after him is banished, so spells or traps, it doesn't really matter, or monsters. Then we play 2 Ash, just the 2 Ash because everyone knows what Ash does. It says no. No to everything. Not everything, but no to most things. And that's everything for the monsters. That is the whole monster lineup. Not a whole lot there. It's real iffy. You really do want to try to see as many of those monsters as you can opening. The more the merrier. And to help us do that, we play 3 map. So what map does is this card is the literal gas of the deck. You can reveal any of your Floowandereeze monsters that are level 1 in your hand, and you can banish another Floowandereeze card. It doesn't have to be a monster, it can be any bird, and then you can normal summon after that effect resolves. And that triggers their effect in the banish zone to add back to hand when you normal summon a bird. They all have that effect except for the tribute summons. So it's really good just to get you resources. Also, another effect that has on your opponent's turn, if they normal summon, it also lets you normal summon in response. So it just gives you even more ability to go off because you'll be recurring your birds throughout your combo because they can return back to hand once they're banished. So this card is just cracked and absolutely busted. If you're ever dueling a Floowandereeze player, this is the card that you want to Ghost Ogre. The next card that we play is just the 1 Unexplored Winds. This card is literal cracked. You can mulligan your hand, you can reveal 2 birds in your hand. It doesn't have to be Flunder monsters, it can be any bird. You can just put them to the bottom of your deck and then draw that number of cards. It can be a maximum of 2, so you can put 1 or 2 away. And this card also, without response, allows you to tribute your opponent's monsters or cards. You can even do spell or traps with it. It's just any card. You just go, I'm tribute summoning, so that's gone now. And they literally just go, oh, okay, I guess so. So in order to stop this, you need to stop it when it gets placed on the field. That's the only time that you can really interact with this thing, unless you're ashing it or whatever, ghost ogring it, then go ahead. But it's just blanket effect, is that I contribute your stuff. It's really good. The next card that we play is 3 Advent. So this card is the newest card of the Floowandereeze. This card is absolutely cracked. They needed this card so badly. Imperms, Veilers absolutely kill this deck. This card says I don't care about them because the card you're targeting isn't on the field anymore. So basically you banish a bird or winged beast monster. When I say bird, I mean winged beast. From your hand or field, and then you get to add a Floowandereeze, a monster, or field spell that says Floowandereeze. So why they didn't just specify map, I don't know. Could be future plans. Don't know. You also gain 500 after it resolves, so like, you're plussing, bro. Plussing. But it's just great. It's a once per turn, but it's super recurable because you can just always add it back with Toucan if you're under D-Shifter, or you can banish it with Street. You can also always add one with M-Pen when you're looping him, so this card should always be in your hand. It's also a quick play, so wonderful card here. So happy that we got something new. Next card that we play is 1 Gold Sark. This card banishes any card in your deck, and then you get it 2 turns later. However, with the birds, you just banish them, and then you get them to your hand as soon as you normal summon. So it's just like a shitty map. But then we play Terraforming as our 4th copy of map, because you need to see map. If you don't see map, you're not gonna win the game probably. So you play Terraforming. If this was at more than 1, you'd play more than 1 Terraforming. Next we play 3 Potted Duality. This card is cracked in this deck. There is literal no drawbacks. Typically you can't spell summon, but we don't do that anyway here. So you just reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck and you get to add 1 to your hand. You can only use 1 Potted Duality per turn, but this card just helps you dig into your deck for map or birds. Really just helps you unbrick. Next card that we play is Attack of Mine. We play 2 precious cards from Beyond. This is a mandatory draw 2 effect whenever you tribute summon for 2 or more monsters. When you're using Unknown Wind to tribute your opponent's cards, it still counts towards the tributes used for the tribute summon. So you still get to draw 2 even from the precious cards from Beyond. So it will just infinitely loop new cards into your hand. If you're digging for stuff like Featherstorm or for another bird or what have you, this card will help you do it. It doesn't help you when you're first starting the game, but once you get going into the game, this card is just going to be the card that carries you and basically makes your opponent scoop. Next card that we play is 2 Wing-Witwiddle. This card you pay 6 if you control 2 or more monsters that with different names that are winged beasts. You pay 6 and then you draw 2 cards. It's Pot of Greed. With Advent in the game, you're basically paying 100 life points to activate a Pot of Greed. It's pretty good. Next card that we play is the tech that helps Roska be viable. It's Gold Moon Coin. So what this card does is you get to add 2 cards from your hand to your opponent's hand and you get to draw 2 cards. So I know that may sound really bad, but if you think about it, your opponent, most times, you're not going to be making Roska first turn. So your opponent probably has a turn. They probably use most of the cards in their hand. They probably only have 1 left. You Gold Moon 2 cards into their hand. Now, when you summon Roska, you have 3 cards to rip out. Roska's at 3,100. He becomes an absolute beefcake. You also get to draw 2 cards for free. If you're at the start of the game and you don't have birds and you have a map, literally you can pitch any card in the deck aside from the Ashes and the Imperms. Give them to your opponent. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You just want to be able to go off, and all you need to go off is a bird and map. So this just helps you dig for those. And honestly, I found absolutely no issue playing these. If I don't want to activate them, then I just hold them until a point where I do want to activate them. You'll always have cards that you don't care about in your hand, so that you'll always have cards to be able to give to your opponent to draw 2 cards. If you're mirror matching, this is an absolutely horrible card because you don't want to be giving your opponent anything. Maybe D-Shifter. You could give your opponent 2 D-Shifter, that'd be pretty funny, but that's about it. Don't mirror match and play Gold Moon Coin. It would be bad. It would be a bad move. Next card that we play is the first trap in the deck. It's the Floowandereeze in the Dreaming Town. This card lets you normal summon on your opponent's turn, so you can go off on their turn. It's our turn now, because I can full combo on your turn for no reason. If map wasn't enough, then I'll do it with this. And then also in the graveyard, when you tribute summon a monster, you can banish it as part of the chain on the summon, and you can flip all your opponent's monsters into face down defense position. So the next card that we play is 3 Featherstorm. This card is the best card in the deck, card that my cohorts here at the Game Nights absolutely despise. This is the card that everyone at Locals absolutely despises. What this card says is you don't get to play the game anymore. You should have went home before you dueled me. This card says you get no monster effects. You get blanket effects and non-activated effects, but anything that gets activated, it just gets negated. All you need to do is to have a Wind Wing Beast monster. So literally you can just summon a toucan or an eagle and feather storm them for free. It's busted. The whole point of the deck is to see this as much as you possibly can with stuff like the precious cards from Beyond. You can just dig into your deck until you find one and then stop afterwards, or you can keep going if you want to, but you can just stop after you see the one Featherstorm. Featherstorm is the absolute pinnacle of bustedness in this deck. This is the card that you want to be relying on to win games. As degenerate as it is a W is a W. Speaking of W, we play White Howling. White Howling does the same thing as Featherstorm, except you need to control just a single water monster. So Snarl, Stree, Robin, any of those three count towards this. And you just target a spell card in your opponent's graveyard, and then any spell card on the field that your opponent controls is negated for the rest of the turn. So whenever they go to activate a spell card, it just gets automatically negated, just like Featherstorm. So if you have Snarl and Empen on board with these two cards set, your opponent is not playing the game. They are not winning. They can set a card, they can set traps, they can use traps, but if they're going second, they aren't using traps. Next card that we play is the 1 Icarus attack. This is Sword Soul Blackout, but for birds. This card, you contribute a Winged Beast and pop 2 cards on the field. It's pretty good. Next card that we play is 2 Strike. You can replace these cards with 1 Scary Sea if you want, but I just found the Strike is infinitely better than a Scary Sea because you can do it in so many different scenarios and it helps you out. Even if you just open a Strike, it's fantastic. This card is absolutely amazing. It just negates a monster effect or the summon of a monster for 1500 life points. With Advent, this card is free. Next card that we play is the last card in the deck. We don't play an extra deck, so this is the last card of the profile. It's crazy nuts. Even under D-Shifter, it doesn't matter. You can still target negate. This card is just absolutely cracked. I don't really need to go into detail with Imperm, but that is this deck. This is my absolutely nuts birds deck. I've been alluding to this deck for literal a year and a half now, and I've been building it that entire time, and it's finally complete and ready for you guys to see. So please, in the comments, tell me what you think of it. Roast me for my choices. Please do. I would love to hear them. But if you agree with how I built the deck, just let me know in the comments as well. I would love to hear that as well. But with that being said, I'll pass it off to Titan for the outro. Deuces.
Alrighty guys, I hope you guys enjoyed Jaxx's deck profile. I know I did. It's different, it's spicy, and I like it. But before we end today's video, I gotta do one more thing, guys. Just one more thing. And that is, I have to make the announcement for the winner of our 350 subscriber special, or Squire special, however you want to look at it. But yeah, I gotta make that announcement. We have all collaborated together, and the winner of the 350 Squire special is, drumroll, right here, Mr. Fotis S. My apologies if I butchered that name, but you are our lucky winner. We all really loved your comment. We're really trying to accomplish just great things on this channel, so we love this kind of support. So you are our winner. So definitely let us know what you want as a prize. As you know, we have 3 different boxes that you can choose from, and that is our winner, guys. But I also have another thing to tell you. We are going to be doing another giveaway, but that will be announced in the next video. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Alrighty, guys. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and until the next upload, deuces.